No.
Rob, wake up.
No. TV's Rob is unwoke. TV's Rob is unwoke.
He's unwoke.
Alrighty, welcome to it. It's another episode of TV's Rob is Unwoke. I am your very unhumble host, TV's Rob, and there is a whole lot to get to tonight, or today, this morning, whenever you're listening. You know, you get it. You get it. So there's more craziness from the 2020 and 2021 Tokyo Olympics. Simone Biles has announced, well, USA Gymnastics announced on her behalf, but she will not be competing in the floor exercise final and now has just one more chance to compete in the Tokyo Games. Now, if you listened to the last episode, you heard Tyler Morgan give his take on how Simone Biles is doing and what is going through her head at this time. And we kind of made predictions here, and I went out on a limb. I said, bold prediction, she does not compete in the 2020 Games. And it's starting to look more and more like I'm going to be right. And while it is an opportunity for me to say, ha, told you so, I kind of feel like Alfred in The Dark Knight where he's like, today I don't want to. Because when you have the best gymnast in the world, the person who is heralded as the best gymnast in the world, not competing, you're selling the game short. And I think that the Team USA competitors have done a great job of that this year. They're not leading in the gold medal count. Now they're leading the overall medal count. But yay, we got a bunch of silvers and bronzes. That's not what we do around here. This is America. And in America, we dominate. We win. Not anymore, apparently. But back to Simone Biles real quick. USA Gymnastics announced Sunday that she won't be competing yet again. It's unclear whether Biles will compete again in Tokyo. She qualified for the finals in each apparatus. Okay, so each of those little stations that you see them doing, she qualified for the finals in all of them. And yet, she has decided not to go through and compete. I mean, she withdrew from the team event. She withdrew from the all-around. She's already withdrawn from the vault and the uneven bars. And now the floor exercise. I mean, why is she even there? That's what I want to know. Why is she even there? Now, people have been talking about, oh, she's been the loudest cheerleader. She's been the one cheering on her team from the sidelines, all masked up and everything. That's great. Yay. Are we going to award her with a participation trophy? Makes you wonder. Now, one person who will forever be linked to Simone Biles is Larry Nassar. Now, if you're wondering who Larry Nassar is, let's take a trip down memory lane. He is the disgraced former USA Gymnastics team doctor whom Simone Biles and several others has accused of sexually abusing them. And of course, he was sentenced to prison back in 2017 after the 2016 games. But apparently, you know, he has spent more than $10,000 behind bars through an account that covers commissary, email, and phone expenses. $10,000. And I'm surprised they're allowing him to have email and phone privileges. I understand the commissary because that's for everybody, as long as you put money into your account. But email and phone expenses? That sounds really weird, especially considering the fact that he's spending money for that instead of paying financial restitution to the victims. Now, I'm not saying that the victims need the money. A lot of them are probably doing pretty well. But either way, some sort of restitution should be given to the victims. The revelation emerged last week as U.S. prosecutors asked a judge to order the Federal Bureau of Prisons to transfer all of the money in Nassar's prison account, well, which is about $2,000, to help provide restitution to 5 victims as part of his 60-year child porn sentence, according to the Associated Press. They said Nasser, who was also convicted in state court of sexually assaulting female gymnasts, has only paid about $300 in penalties despite receiving $12,825 since he was incarcerated in a federal prison more than 3 years ago. Nasser, 57, still owes roughly $57,000 in restitution and a $5,000 special assessment, according to the motion U.S. prosecutors filed with U.S. District Judge Janet Neff in Grand Rapids. They said federal law requires that money Nasser receives in prison be applied to his restitution obligation. In other words, no email and phone for you. You pay money. No email and phone for you. And here's the funny part. Deposits that have gone into Nasser's prison account have included a total of $2,000 from 2 federal stimulus checks in January and March. Wow. That's crazy. So now we understand the connection between Larry Nasser and Simone Biles, right? Well, in 2018, Biles issued a statement declaring that I, too, am one of the many survivors that was sexually abused by Nasser. It is impossibly difficult to relive these experiences, and it breaks my heart even more to think that as I work towards my dream of competing in Tokyo 2020, I will have to continually return to the same training facility where I was abused. Now, I have to throw out there the question. Not giving Simone Biles an out. I am not giving her an out by any stretch of the imagination, but I have to ask the question. And you're more than welcome to respond either on Twitter at TV's Rob Official, or you can hit me up at anchor.fm/TV's Rob is Unwoke. Does all the Nasser stuff from the past, does that have any bearing on what's happening to her now? That's all I'm asking. Let me know. Simone Biles and the U.S. Gymnastics is not the only story out there in Tokyo, okay? There's a lot more going on than Simone Biles. For instance, history will be made at the Tokyo Olympics. Don't know if this is the kind of history we want to be made, but it's going to be made. On Monday, August 2nd, New Zealand weightlifter Laurel Hubbard will become the first openly transgender athlete to compete in an Olympic Games. That's right. Many of you have heard the name, many of you have heard about this New Zealand weightlifter who will be competing. But the day has come. The 43-year-old transgender weightlifter will be competing. Now, I saw this article on Yahoo Sports, and I am surprised that they had the balls and the audacity to even ask this question. What question is it? Well, here it is. Is her inclusion fair? What? Are they casting doubt on Laurel Hubbard's eligibility and the fairness of her competing? Be still, my heart. Be still, my heart. Oh. I can't believe it. I honestly could not believe it. Now, what is Laurel Hubbard's story? Hubbard was born in 1978 in Auckland, New Zealand. As a kid, set national junior weightlifting records in the boys 105 kilogram and over division. Don't ask me how much 105 kilograms is. I don't know how much it weighs. It's metric. There's no way to know. I couldn't even tell you how to find the answer. Maybe Google knows it. Google it if you must. I'm not going to. Now, Hubbard gave up the sport in their early 20s, transitioned in 2012 in the mid-30s, and began hormone therapy. 5 years later, Hubbard began competing internationally in women's heavyweight divisions, suffered a gruesome arm injury in 2018, and thought the career was over, but recovered and could contend for a medal in the 87 kilogram and over competition in Tokyo. Again, I don't know how much 87 kilograms weighs. So don't go there. Don't ask me. Figure it out for yourself. You're a grown-ass audience, okay? Now, is Hubbard the Olympic favorite? Believe it or not, according to Yahoo Sports, the answer is no. Of the 14 women lifting in Hubbard's weight class at the Olympics, Hubbard probably ranks in the top half, but arguably not in the top 3. Hubbard has finished 6th at the most recent World Championships in 2019. So Hubbard's Olympic competition has thinned for a variety of reasons. So Hubbard may be able to push for bronze or even silver, but China's Li Wenwen is the overwhelming favorite. But hey, the fact that Yahoo Sports threw out the question, is the inclusion of Hubbard fair? Now, I think that we could all answer the question, no. Why? Well, let's look at science. Everybody wants science. Men are bigger, stronger than women. That's all there is to it. So I see this as an unfair advantage, but hey, if Hubbard does not medal, I will consider it a victory for women the world over. And that's what we should really be celebrating. Women kicking the crap out of a guy in weightlifting. One more Olympic themed story real quick, and then we'll move on to other things, because I teased in the last episode, I have a crazy solution for some of NASCAR's silly season movements. And if you know anything about NASCAR, you will probably think this is genius. And we'll get to that. But first, I have to complain about the U.S. women's national soccer team. Oh my God. These women are driving me crazy. Okay? They are driving me crazy. You heard it a few episodes ago. I was talking about them after their first loss in 44 matches. I said what they needed to do. Have they listened to all of my advice? No, they have not. In fact, they've only listened to a tiny little fraction of it. So maybe if I just bang the gong a little bit harder, maybe these women will wake up and finally start listening. Though I honestly doubt it. Megan Rapinoe seems like the type that doesn't listen to anybody. Now, the U.S. women's national soccer team has made it to the knockout stages of the tournament. And they are limping through this competition. They are absolutely just limping through it. They seem lifeless, to say the least. Now, they have made it from the quarterfinals to the semifinals by knocking off the Netherlands. Now, did they go out there and score 6 goals? No. Did they score 4 goals? No. How many goals were they able to put on the board against the Netherlands? 2. How many goals did the Netherlands score? 2. Wait, what? You mean to tell me that the game ended in a draw? In the quarterfinals, the knockout rounds of the Olympic Games ended in a draw? Well, not exactly, okay? They went to penalty shots. It's like a shootout in hockey. That's where they won the game. After Megan Rapinoe scored the decisive goal, so she gets to look like the hero, at least for this game. Yeah. If you don't score on a PK, you have no business playing soccer in the first place, okay? You put the ball basically right in front of the goal, and the goalie can't move until you strike the ball, so you can easily psych them out. If an idiot like me could score on a PK, it's not that hard. Okay? I'm just going to throw that out there. Now on Monday, August 2nd, the same day that history is being made in the weightlifting competition for the women, the women's soccer team has a date with Canada. And guess what? Canada can beat them. It is possible that the U.S. women's soccer team will be playing for bronze instead of gold this year. And that is ridiculous. Why is that ridiculous? This team was built to dominate. and has been doing so for years. Now they're struggling to get through the tournament. They're struggling, absolutely struggling. They've only managed to score a total of 8 goals this tournament. That is unheard of. And their opponents have put 5 up on them. I mean, that's only a goal differential of 3. That is usually a lot higher. A lot higher. So what's the easy solution? Well, go out and dominate like you're supposed to. I mean, that's what you are supposed to do. You have a great group of talent. Use it. But honestly, Megan Rapinoe and co. should stop the political protesting. Stop the influencer crap and focus on playing the game. Now, to quote Laura Ingraham from Fox News, who once said to the NBA, "Shut up and dribble." Well, TV's Rob says, shut the up and play some soccer. Stop making yourselves and the U.S. look like a bunch of idiots out on the pitch. TV's Rob here. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First and foremost, it's free. We all like free, right? There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, making it a lot easier than the way that I go about it. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more, saving you the time, energy, and effort of having to do it yourself. It is a pain. You can make money from your podcast as well with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And if you start up a podcast using Anchor, I'll be your first guest. Okay, I get, yeah, baby, I understand. Yes, I'm sorry. I was using your computer, using your microphone. I'm sorry. I know. I'm very sorry. I'm moving. I'm going to continue it over here on my side, okay? Thanks. Okay. Thank you. I love you. No, really, I love you. Sorry about that. My wife needs to use the home studio. I was using her computer because it has a better microphone. And she kicked me over here to my side. So now I'm finishing the show on a different microphone, on a different computer. But hey, that's the beauty of podcasting. It can be portable. Well, the NASCAR season is in full swing, although right now they're in the middle of this 2-week Olympic break, which, oh my God, if they ever do it again, I will scream. Forcing me to go 2 weeks without auto racing is awful. And honestly, it should be illegal. So Steve Phelps, Jim France, everybody at NASCAR, listen to TV's Rob and say, don't do it again, okay? But while the NASCAR season is in full swing, the NASCAR silly season is in full swing. And what is the NASCAR silly season? Well, basically, it is the musical chairs game played every year. Which driver is going to stay at their team? Which driver is going to leave their team? What's going to happen with this guy? It is insanity. And usually it starts earlier and earlier in the year. Well, this year, it's safe to say it's just chaos. Brad Keselowski leaving Team Penske, going to Roush Fenway, where he's going to be a team co-owner, a minority owner. Hey, that's great. He's furthering his career for when he's done driving. That's great. Matt DiBenedetto, not going to be back with the Wood brothers next year. Why? Because they told him last year that he was not going to be back in that car. And originally he was going to be replaced with Austin Cindric. But Cindric is now replacing Keselowski at the 2 car at Team Penske. So why are the Wood brothers getting rid of Matt DiBenedetto? Oh, because they're going to promote Harrison Burton from the Joe Gibbs Racing Xfinity Series camp into the 21 ride. Is your head spinning yet? Because mine is. There's so many things that are going on. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all of the details because most of you aren't NASCAR fans. I am, and it's my show, so I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to talk a little bit, okay? I'm not going to dive into all the particulars, okay? I promise you. But that just gives you a taste of some of the chaos that's going on. But here's even more. Next year, 2022, the NASCAR Cup Series will see the debut of their next-gen car. The next-gen car is being designed to level the playing field amongst all of the teams, and the cars are supposed to look a lot more like their street counterparts. And I can say, after seeing them debut in May, wow, they really do look a lot more like their street counterparts. Now, of course, they're not stock cars. You can't race a stock car in NASCAR anymore. You just can't do it. But these purpose-built race cars on the outside look a lot like their street counterparts, and that is really cool. Now, with the advent of the next gen, we have a lot of people getting into ownership in the Cup Series. People like Michael Jordan, which we've talked about. Did you know that Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305, owns a NASCAR Cup team? He does. And in fact, the team that he owns just bought Chip Ganassi's racing team. They're expanding rapidly. Colleague Racing, who actually races in the Xfinity Series currently, is moving up to Cup, bought 2 charters. Now, what is a charter? A charter guarantees you a starting spot. This is NASCAR's equivalent to franchises. Now, one guy who wants to get in on the ownership game of a Cup team, but hasn't pulled the trigger yet, is one Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's been talking about taking his Junior Motorsports Xfinity team Cup racing next year. But he has said that the charter marketplace has become scarce and nearly cost preventative for him, which, if Dale Jr. can't afford it, we're all screwed. Really. That's a fact. And facts are facts. But I have found the perfect solution for him and Junior Motorsports. Apparently, Richard Petty Motorsports has had conversations with other manufacturers to see if there is a better deal than what it stands to have with Chevrolet next year. But the general industry consensus is that it will retain the status quo for now. But the team is also said to be doing due diligence towards potential buyers, and the Petty outfit is interested in possibly bringing somebody else into the ownership fold or outright selling off its team. So, think about this, everybody. If you know nothing about NASCAR at all, there are 2 names that probably stick out and you would probably be able to identify as NASCAR drivers, right? Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. So, picture this. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Richard Petty, teaming up to form Earnhardt Petty Motorsports. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Richard Petty, Chevrolet team, joining forces to field a Cup Series car. Now, NASCAR nerds should be wearing their white pants after hearing that, because I think that is the ticket, okay? I think that will generate a lot of buzz outside of the NASCAR world. The combination of Earnhardt and Petty, Chevrolet, boom! Oh, doesn't it just sound great to you? Because it sounds great to me. But I could be wrong. If anybody's a NASCAR fan, hit me up. Let me know. Let's talk. Hit me up on Twitter or leave a message. Or even come on the show and let's talk about it, all right? Let's pause a moment here to talk about protein bars. Do you like a good snack throughout the day, but you'd rather not pack on the pounds while doing it? Well, hey, I've got great news. Built Bar is here to save the day. They've got so many flavors. There's something for everyone. When you talk to a Built Bar fan, like me, they're passionate about their favorites. They've got amazing flavors like coconut, which is death for me, but hey, maybe it works for you. Mint brownie, which I love. Double chocolate, salted caramel, cookies and cream, which is great, and more. Hey, if you can't pick a flavor right off the bat, you can get a mixed box. What is a mixed box? You'll get 2 of each of their 9 regular flavors. Built Bars have up to 18 grams of protein, and they're 180 calories or less. Only 4 to 5 grams of sugar, and only 4 or 5 net carbs. But you wouldn't know it by tasting them, because they taste amazing. You can take care of your sweet tooth and still be healthy. How about that? And now you can get your Built Bars even faster. How? Check this out. The new URL is built.com. It's no longer builtbar.com. You get to save 3 letters. Think about the time it takes for you to type in BAR. Now you don't have to do it. And for you, the loyal audience of TV's Rob is Unwoke, Built Bar is giving you a discount off your first order. Go to built.com and use the promo code TV's Rob to save 10% off your first order. Use promo code TV's Rob for 10% off at built.com.
He's Unwoke.
Well, hey, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the content. I am enjoying doing it. And look, if you're really enjoying it, do me a favor. Go on to Apple Podcasts, leave a review, and leave a 5-star rating. That way, other people can discover the show, and other disgruntled people that just want to complain about things can find a spot where they're welcome. I think that's what we really need to do. We need to let people who want to complain have a spot to go where they can complain or listen to somebody else complain and say, you know what? I'm with you on that. Good job. Because the woke mob, they're all about shutting you down. And that's not what we're going to be doing around here. So go to Apple Podcasts, leave a review, leave a 5-star rating, tell 3 people that you know about it. What have you got to lose? The worst they could do is come back to you and say, you know, I listened to that program that you recommended to me. Don't you dare ever recommend anything to me ever again. Okay? You might lose some credibility, but hey, at least you tried, right? If you want to get in on the action and make your mark on the show, go to anchor.fm/TV's Rob is Unwoke and leave a voice message. I'll play a selection of them in future episodes. Also, if you want to come on the show like Tyler did, which apparently now he's my co-host, this is 3rd time. Oh, geez, I can't believe it. But if you want to come on like he did and talk about something that's got you going, send me a message on Twitter at TV's Rob Official. We'll discuss whatever's on your mind. Follow me on Twitter at TV's Rob Official as well, where I tweet all sorts of nonsensical things. Special thanks to my wife and producer, Nikki. You can follow her on Twitter at DFW Radio Girly. That's Girly spelled Girlie. Follow her. She keeps you informed and entertained at the same time. You can also follow at Cat Ryoga, the derpy cat executive producer of the show, who's been meowing in the background somewhere at some point. So, and I'm too lazy to take it out of the recording. It's just there. So, hope you don't mind a meowing cat. So that's going to do it for this edition. We'll do it again next time. I'm TV's Rob. This is TV's Rob is Unwoke.